the sick among the few. Got money, let's go dancing on the backs of the bruised. Got money's not one to choose. No, you can't take it. No, you can't take it. No, you can't take that away from me. No, you can't take it. No, you can't take it. No, you can't take that away from me. Head like a hole, black is your soul. I'd rather die than give you control. Head like a hole, black is your soul. I'd rather die than give you control. Bow down before the one you serve. You're gonna get what you deserve. Bow down before the one you serve. You're gonna get what you deserve. Bow down before the one you serve. You're gonna get what you deserve. Bow down before the one you serve. You're gonna get what you deserve. Bow down before the one you serve. You're gonna get what you deserve. Bow down before the one you serve. You're gonna get what you deserve. Head like a hole, black is your soul. I'd rather die than give you control. Head like a hole, black is your soul. I'd rather die than give you control. Head like a hole, black is your soul. I'd rather die than give you control. Head like a hole, black is your soul. I'd rather die than give you control. Bow down before the one you serve. You're gonna get what you deserve. Bow down before the one you serve. You're gonna get what you deserve. Bow down before the one you serve. You're gonna get what you deserve. Bow down before the one you serve. You're gonna get what you deserve. Shadow reaps the deepest fears. No one tells me why I'm here. Leather straps on stapled eyes. Gotta scream to cut your ties. Can't subtract from Adderall. Pull you in before you fall. Not as sweet as it appears. Someone tell me why I'm here. Ooh, you know I'm gone. Ooh, go, I'm on to you now. All they want is your control. For the Bible scares me so. Smell the ones who came here last. Must have lost the game too fast. We don't read between the lines. Cut too deep to see the signs. Watch me as my blood runs cold. Now your Bible can take hold. Ooh, you know I'm gone. Ooh, go, I'm on to you now. Ooh, you know I'm gone. Ooh, go, I'm on to you now. I'm on to you. Which side do I wanna be? This side's got a hold on me. Don't try this hard for me now. The easy way, the easy way, easy way. I'm on to you now. times are ahead. Best, you've got to be the best. You've got to change the world and use this chance to be heard. Your time is now. Time is now. Change everything you are and everything you were. Your number has been called. Fights and battles have begun. Revenge will surely come. Your hard times are ahead. Best, you've got to be the best. You've got to change the world and use this chance to be heard. Your time is now. Time is now. C-Rock shows near Tampa. Get tickets as low as $20,000. You might also like Napa, the problem that use time is running out. Falling away with you. Don't let yourself down. Don't let yourself go. Your last chance has arrived. Best, you've got to be the best. You've got to change the world and use this chance to be heard. Your time is now. Time is now. Don't let yourself down. Don't let yourself go. Your last chance has arrived. Best, you've got to be the best. You've got to change the world and use this chance to be heard. Your time is now.
Welcome, my friends, to XboxEra. If you're new here, let me fill you in. XboxEra is a platform for the Xbox community with best-in-class forums, a kick-ass Discord server, and of course, XboxEra.com, your destination for the best news, reviews, and features, all focused on your favourite platform, Xbox. It's every Xbox fan's gateway to the best of XboxEra. Our incredible podcasts listened to in over 50 countries worldwide, our in-depth reviews, our own merch store for the coolest in gaming threads, and of course Day One, where you can track, rate and discuss your favourite games on Xbox Game Pass. We're a small, agile and independent publication, and importantly, we're completely funded by you. If you value having a publication truly focused on your preferred place to play, you can become one of the cool kids by supporting us directly via Patreon. Just head to patreon.com/XboxEra. You get cool swag and awesome perks, and we get to keep doing what we do. Become a part of the best Xbox community on the internet and help us grow even larger. Thank you for your support. XboxEra is only made possible by the support of an amazing community, and in particular our legendary and growing army of Patreon supporters. Our executive producers, Top, The Scarecrow 121, Peter B, Not Jack, Mohammed Sherez, Kevin S, Korkenstein, Jordan White, Jordan Andow, Frankie C, Terran H, and Britt are amazingly generous grand benefactors who take their support and dedication to Xbox Era to another level. Krat56, an assassin. And then there's our boss, our leader, our shining light in times of darkness, the one and only Xbox Era CEO, Torn Raptor. You guys are all fucking awesome. If you enjoy the content Xbox Era produce and want more of it, and you're not a patron, consider heading over to patreon.com/Xbox Era, pledge your support, and get cool swag in return. Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Xbox Era Headlines. The date today is October the 8th, 2024. I'm Sika Mechanico, and today Jesse and I will be talking through all of the latest in gaming news from across the industry. If the winds and the rains don't come, fingers crossed. It's looking a bit hairy for you over there. Mm, It's terrifying, man. Like seeing the pictures of Hurricane Milton, by the way, for anyone that's not US based, has no idea what we're talking about. Big hurricane formed in the Gulf of Mexico, unusually heading straight towards you. Scary times, man. I can hear you. I can hear Jesse fine.
Yeah.
Something went
This
awry.
thing, for something, I didn't even restart my computer today, but for some reason, everything changed default. And I literally just went into Windows and changed the default to this mic. And this OBS is set to this friggin' default. And it still didn't work. Computers
still
are
didn't
stupid.
work.
Yeah, so it's working now.
Still didn't work. No Jesse juice. It's just
Yeah.
me. This audio
It's
MP3 will
working
be
now.
great.
Hmm?
It's working now?
No, it's
Okay.
working now. It takes 20 seconds because we're on the
okay.
high quality. But yeah, it's I changed all the settings before we went live, and even though this is on the right mic in OBS, I had to go to a different mic and go back to it, and now it works because OBS is weird.
So they arguably then they didn't hear all of the discussion around
Yeah, hurricane. Yeah, normally hurricane, when it forms in the Gulf of Air, it just hops over to Mexico and into the Pacific. This time it went east. Most of the time, these hurricanes turn away from Tampa and don't hit it directly. This one seems like it's going to be either right on or right below or above us. Below, good for us, bad for the people below us, but below, good for us because it means no storm surge compared to above us where it drags all the water up the bay. It should be really bad. No evacuation order here, and if there was, I don't know where we could even go because it's literally cutting off like most of the state and just cutting up. So I think that's probably why they haven't done it. If you're in a decently constructed home like we are, there's no safe spot to go to north.
Yeah,
and it's completely full. There's no gas or anything, so
it's terrifying. I was telling my missus about it last night, and she said, "Oh God!" And their houses are all made of like wood and paper, and I was like, "Yeah, but if your house falls down, I'd rather be buried under wood and paper than brick,
well,
because everything over here is solid."
After Hurricane Andrew in the 90s, there were codes instituted, and most things are now like brick and stone, and not. They have to be able to withstand up to a 3. So if it's a 4 or a 5, nothing can really withstand that unless you're like a hospital with gigantic amounts of rebar and concrete and whatnot. But yeah, these homes were built after that, so they are up to code. However, how the roofs are, who knows? But yeah.
Wow. Keep us all updated as always, and just as a heads up to our wonderful community, including everybody in the chat that's watching right now, if we're not live on Thursday, it might be that the internet's out and stuff. We'll obviously play that by ear. We'll see how it goes.
If people want to, I'm planning after this stream. I'm just going to play Diablo all day on the channel. So We got nothing else really to do. We've got all our foods in our waters, and unless they give us an evac order, we're just here waiting all week. It's fun.
Yeah, on tenterhooks as well. I can see Trav in the chat saying, we're going to Mexico paying for the hurricane. You joke, but I was scrolling the wonderful world of unmoderated Twitter this morning, and one of the mayors of a town in Mexico who'd been in power for 6 days, just his head, was found on top of a car in his neighborhood. So I guess, yeah.
It can be a really rough country.
What the fuck?
Anyways. And they are in the Yucatan Peninsula, just got hit by Category 5. Like, I cannot imagine the devastation for the area there that got hit.
It's crazy. But let's not dwell on real world depressing stuff. Let's talk about wonderful video games and all the joys that they bring. And I think, there's actually, considering it's only Tuesday, a large amount of things to discuss and talk about this week. The top billing, of course, being the very, very surprising Sunday premiere and reveal of Halo, both moving to Unreal Engine and 343 Studios rebranding as Halo Studios. Now, I watched this. I was writing the news when it all went up. The move to Unreal is something that we've kind of known about
heard a lot of rumors
for a while.
It was always, can they make it feel right?
Yes, yeah. Because it's worth saying for folks that didn't know, they did a bunch of prototyping early on before Infinite in Unreal.
And it would have been 4, and 4 sucked. So 5 sucking, big help.
They elected not to do it, but it sounds like they've worked very closely. I mean, we saw one of the product leads for Unreal in that Halo Studios reveal video on Sunday. Mate, as a long-time Halo fan, 20 plus years under my belt, it looks great. And there was a quote from one of the Halo Studios staffers in there about how back in the day, in the OG days, Halo led the way of graphical fidelity on console. It was a powerhouse. Halo CE particularly. I always thought Halo 2 was
I think
ugly.
the best looking ones compared to other games at their times, like 2 looked good, but nowhere near as good as they wanted, which it will be interesting. There was a little celebrating Halo like anniversary on was it November 11th in the background on one of those things, on like a poster or a picture on a screen. It would be cool to finally see the real E3 demo, because that got shown as well, and see that original lighting. That would have been a powerhouse.
Yeah, that is being it's going to be playable on the anniversary day, as I understand it, from the modding team that 343 partnered with to bring it to life. So that would be a fun stream to see someone playing through the OG. Man, the amount of times I watched that Halo 2 E3 demo, that was like, there was nothing else like it. The cheers from the crowd, the roar, it was very, very cool.
I mean, the game wasn't that different, like overall content-wise, but it did not have that lighting, which was like the big thing in that demo.
No, and it was the scale as well, like seeing the city under siege, and the jets that come across an airstrike, the plasma turret, and I was just like jaw on the floor. And then Halo 2 came out, and I probably have never been more disappointed. Still a good game, but comparatively,
the worst legendary by far.
Yes, but Halo Unreal. I mean, it's fair to say that I don't think we've ever seen the Halos take on the Pacific Northwest and other environments look as good as they did in the footage that we saw on Sunday. The flood environment in particular was stunning. The waterfall in the Pacific Northwest version, it all looked great. I loved the OG Chief as well. I definitely think, as I wrote in an opinion piece in a video, I think this is a very strong indication. And again, this is an opinion. This is not reporting. But combining it with Tom Warren's reporting from The Verge, you remember before the showcase in June, he'd heard that a Halo Combat Evolved remake was on the cards as a possible PS5 launch as well for the franchise for the first time. That's the bit that will get all Xbox fans' knickers in a twist. But when we talk about a remake, because a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to play Halo CE again for the 5th time. if this is a remake and they
Yeah.
take some creative differences,
It would have to like
go all out.
There's no reason to go back and do what it did because the original was so limited by the hardware. When you're not limited by the hardware anymore, you can do so much more. But that also means it's essentially. It also means it's like you're essentially remaking. You're making a whole new game. It's not like a smaller project. It would be enormous at that point. It would be making a new Halo game. It almost feels like Gears E-Day, where you're taking things back a bit, but not far. I mean, you're not far enough where you could keep going from there.
You say that, but like there's a couple of hints there. Like they were talking and some of the quotes from the Xbox Wire piece. They said that everything that they've built, it's not so much a what's the phrase? A tech demo, right? We could take some of this stuff and immediately make stuff with it. Is effectively what they were saying. And that for me, where's the quote here? Everything we've made is built to the kinds of standards that we need to build for the future of our games. We are very intentional about not stepping into tech demo territory. We built things that we truly believe in, and the content that we've built, or at least a good percentage of it, could travel anywhere inside our games in the future if we so desire it. And then this was the kicker for me. Studio head Pierre Hintz, who really hates being on camera and talking, which I find kind of moderately adorable. Like this huge hulk of a man, and he's like, "Yeah, we're really pleased to be here and share this with you." It was kind of like, oh, he really hates being on camera. But he said, "It's fair to say that our intent is that the majority of what we showcased in Project Foundry, which is the Unreal demo, is expected to be in projects which we are building or future projects." So I looked at all of this and looked at Tom Warren's reporting, and I'm like, if I were Microsoft and I were 343, could they get a remake, not a remaster? That's the important clarification here. A remake of the Halo Combat Evolved plot beats in a new game, single player only, no multiplayer attached to it, a single player Halo Combat Evolved reboot refresh in Unreal Engine in time for whatever their next console launch plans are, be it 2026 if that's the case. And then I'm like, oh, I hope so. I hope that that's true, because I would play the shit out of that. But yeah, that's just me. Were you happy with it though? Are you happy to see them move on from Slipspace and Blam Engine? And
I quite liked the way Halo Infinite looked and felt, but it is that thing with all of these companies where it's like you have to have two teams. You have your creatives, and the creatives are always waiting on stuff from the tech side who are rebuilding your engine constantly, and you've still got, and it is still repurposed Blam engine, which was also always been the biggest issue for Destiny. Like Destiny and Destiny 2 still running on a version of that engine. It's just miserable to try and, like, I remember we moved a rock. Now we've got to wait a day for it to render out the new lighting for that area, like that type of stuff. Like it was just stifling. If Unreal Engine has anything, it is a huge knowledge base out there with tons of people. It's like the industry standard. It's what everyone knows. They are still in a state where if they can only hire so much, and hopefully part of this is being empowered to hire more full-timers. But if you still do have a lot of contractors because of the way the state laws and everything go, they all know this for the most part.
They all know Unreal.
Yeah. You don't have to teach them the entire time that they're there trying to work. You don't have to have the team dedicated to creating an engine. They can be there working with the Coalition and Ninja Theory and Undead Labs and Obsidian and all your other studios who use it all the time, who know so much about it, and they can work with you to make it better. And you're just working on this, your fork of this engine. Obviously the Coalition and Ninja Theory really good at. Undead Labs, they've got the mocap studio that can do all this stuff.
Yeah, there's so much that could be like.
Yeah, it's
and I can see some comments in the chat. Like Woodstar Forges says, "I don't want a CE remake unless it has Halo 5-esque gameplay and uses First Strike, which is the book, as a base.
It can't be Floaty Tank Man. I agree. It has to play like Infinite."
I think more than anything else that they should chuck everything out. Like, this is a controversial take as a long-time Halo fan. I've played a lot of Halo, and the muscle memory is ingrained, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the problem that 343 excuse me, Halo Studios has always had, or maybe it is a problem that 343 Studios has already had, and I'll come to my second point in a second. The problem that they've always had is trying to cater for the Woodstar Forges and the Sika Mechanicos and the Jessies. Oh, they all want different things. Oh, these guys want Forge, and these guys want multiplayer, and these machinima team over there, they all want. And I'm like, chuck it all out, man. Chuck it all out. You've got the premise, you've got the character, you've got the world. What could it look like if you were just to completely reinvent the wheel? And that might freak a lot of Halo fans out. But Jesus Christ. Like,
Halo Infinite
years.
is what you see. Halo 5, Halo 4, Halo 3. Like, these are all the things you see when you're trying to do everything for everyone.
And that's what I mean. Like, imagine they go first person driving for the Warthog. No third person. But imagine just like, and it would surprise. Whoa, what is this? And imagine if they come up with a whole new gameplay mechanics and the way the game feels, and it isn't this Halo like. It's still Halo, but it's a different kind of Halo. Like, and if they did that within a single player game and a single player world, and just ignored all of the baggage that comes with the IP and just went out and made an adventure out of it.
Well, you know, the main
player
thing
only product. I'd love it.
With the multiple projects, I am hoping that is, okay, we've got our campaign team. They're doing a campaign, and maybe they get a PvE co-op thing for that, because you've already got all these things made, and you can repurpose levels to have like also co-op focused, even looter type stuff, but you still have your main regular old huge Halo campaign. But one of the other projects is free-to-play multiplayer that is everywhere, that does incorporate third-party IP, because that's the only way it can ever take off. Like, as much as people are like, Halo can't go to PlayStation, it can't go to Switch, it can't go anywhere, then it's never going to be as big as it used to be. It's because it's just, and as big as it used to be is still smaller than it is now, player count-wise. It's just, it was bigger, you know, in people's brains and in the collective consciousness.
Yeah.
But like, Halo Infinite had many tens of millions of players. Like, it was still huge in a way that the problem was not having that pipeline of content ready to go, and then it just died off with the multiplayer. They did the playlist update that broke everything right around the holidays, and it never recovered. Yeah. But if they can get a free to play, that is, even if it is just Xbox and PC to start or something, who knows? Because it's actually easier for multiplayer to be on one thing focused and then move to others than it is for single player. Like, but if they can just get that multiplayer free to play, yes, we're going to bring in Iron Man suits and Doom Eternal suits and Power Armor, anything that makes sense as a look for a Spartan suit that will sell money and keep it going and keep content going, because it keeps making money. As much as we all hate that and don't want that, I can already hear Kagemaru yelling at me about it, but it's like, if you want it to be big, you have to let the whales pay for it.
And that's the thing. Halo fans lament the success of the series, and there's a whole subsect out there that will say, oh, it's because they've not gone back to classic gameplay. That's what the people really want. And then you get folks that are like, no, I love Halo 5. I love the way that played. You get people that love the way Infinite plays. I like the way Infinite plays, but I also loved the way Halo 3 played. I loved the way Halo 5 played. So I kind of, and this comes to my other point, right, is they've obviously done, as a big part of this announcement, a rebrand. And they spoke at length about this, you know, different phases of the life cycle, and we always had this recipe for making a Halo game was we'd make it in Blam, and we'd go off and we do all of these things and we tick all of these boxes. And now we're changing that. We're going to be a, you know, content creation first studio, not a technology studio where they're building the engine and laying the tracks for it as they're trying to build the train that's going along.
Which always held back so much. Like, we didn't get Forge for a long ass time, like, because there was just so much tech work to do and making everything work in the way they want. And if you've got this more baseline engine that not just you, but like half of your goddamn partner studios all know and do really well. Like you can depend on them, and they're not even that far from the coalition, I don't think either. Like it's just a very the main issue and the main thing that will matter always was, how's it going to feel? Is it still going to feel good? Like, is it going to feel Halo good? Where like Halo felt good, Halo 2 felt really good, Halo 3 felt good, Halo 4 felt good, Halo 5 felt, I thought, great, and then Halo Infinite felt great. Like they felt really good and snappy and almost unique in the way that their shooting and movement works. And like, I also would really like it if in the single player, since it is divorced from, if the single player is divorced from campaign, as they wanted to do and eventually did do for Infinite, I want to feel incredibly fast and powerful. Like I don't want to have that multiplayer balance mixed in where he can't be running 60 miles an hour, because it just doesn't make sense for map size and all that type of stuff. Like if you're redoing all this and you've got all this new tech in your Series X and S, PC, your new consoles focus, like I want to feel similar to how you did at times in Halo 5, where it's like, yes, you are in a super suit as a superhuman, but then in the multiplayer, you don't have to push that. The multiplayer can stay more grounded and less superhero powery, and it can be the shooting and the movement.
Yeah, because they've detached the games from each other, the modes, so they're not all using the same subset. Yeah, it's entirely possible. I mean, Halo,
even if it is the gear stuff,
like
Infinite, like you get every shot's electrified because you shoot through your upgraded shield, like that type of cool single player stuff.
Yeah, I'm all for it. Like it was always meant to be, the Chief was likened to an M1 Abrams tank. Hence CE's very tanky like controls, but you're right, it's like walking on grease. I'm used to it, but like it doesn't have a patch on how the newer ones play. But there's so much potential in the universe, and a lot of people have said, oh, who was expecting this bombshell announcement on a Sunday? And I think, to Halo fans, and at least to Pierre and the rest of the team's credit, I think they're very aware that, let's be honest, we've had this song and dance before, right? We had the exact same thing with the reveal of Slipspace and what would be possible. And, like Halo Infinite's a great game, but it didn't fulfill everything that everybody wanted.
All the management got fired after it.
And yeah, so by rebranding and kind of moving the chapter forward, or, turning the page, so to speak, not doing it because that could have easily sat on stage and been a big announce at a show. It could have, but they saved it for their biggest fan event of the year at HCS Worlds. And I think that is a little bit of, we know we've kind of done this song and dance
if it's
before.
not a game, it would have pissed people off at a show like that. Like it has to, there's no game here. There's just a really cool tech demo for now.
Yeah. But I think it was just a nice little bit of like, we are listening. I think everybody is very excited. Halo fans are excited. It's nice to know that, after seeing the studio get gutted, seeing the leadership all leave, what's happening with Halo, the rumors of it, being shuttered and all of this sort of stuff, none of that's true. In fact, multiple games are in development. Multiple games.
It's too big of an IP for them to ever do that. Like it more investment into making sure it's ready to go, I think, was always more likely than ever making it lesser. Like that everyone's focused on building up their own IP because you control it, you make all the money from it. Using others' IP might get you a success, but like Hogwarts Legacy selling all that, a lot of that money has to then go to J.K. Rowling's company because it's her IP and they've got a deal for that. So WB makes money, but also when you're like Ubisoft and you make a good game in Outlaws, but it doesn't sell crazy, we know the types of deals that Disney pushes. So they probably would really struggle to make anything off of that game now. Like it's rough. So having having an IP as big as Halo, I don't think Xbox Studio single player stuff is super likely to go everywhere right away. I do think, though, people need to get used to the idea that multiplayer focused things, especially if they are ever free to play, only get as big as they can if they are everywhere.
Yeah.
So those make logical sense to possibly be targeted for it. Older things to try and get people interested in an IP that might not have ever seen it before. That like a Halo CE remake in that way would make more sense than a new Halo game right at launch, because you're trying to pull people in. Same with like a Gears trilogy. Like your big thing is getting 2 and 3 on PC finally, but also you can try and pull people in for, you know, E-Day successors if it comes after or before. Like there are always
that's the only way.
logical
Like, IP
reasons
is
for
king.
it. Yeah.
IP is king, and they want to make money. End of story.
And as we just saw with it's not in the news, but as we just saw with Google, like walled gardens are getting poofed. There's no more walled garden on Android anymore. It's just gone. Like you have to not only allow but make it easy for any third party store that's, you know, up to snuff. It has to be a real store. But all those third party stores now just can have all the apps on the Play Store. Like you can't silo them in, and they used to pay people a ton of money to not go to other platforms, and that cost them.
I hope Apple gets next. I can see bits and pieces in the chat. Is Forge possible on Unreal? Yes, absolutely yes. In fact,
wasn't a lot of work already done in Blender and then brought over? Like,
no, they have their own.
Remember, there were people who would do stuff in Blender, get it all set up.
It's not called Blender. They've got their own proprietary piece of tech to build stuff in before it comes across, and I can't remember what it's called.
Well, I don't mean Play 3. There were people who would in
terms of importing assets and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to a degree, and equally the blueprint stuff for scripting that you see in Halo Infinite right now is based off of very similar visual language that's used in Unreal. So it's all possible.
Smart people find a way.
Yeah, it's a game engine. It can do that. You know, you just have to be able to tell it. It does mean that you get lots of benefits, like the idea of being able to light a Forge map with, you know, Lumen and Nanite technologies, and this. I'm hype. Like, we'll see. It'll be years before we see anything. Like 2026 at the earliest, if that.
Yeah, because I think somebody said that they had been working on something that got greenlit in April 2022, but also in that time, it is learning and switching over to and getting people ready for Unreal. Who knows how long any of that takes. Unreal Engine 5 is always constantly evolving and stuff as well. It was really bad early in the gen. It's finally pretty good now. But yeah, it's an enormous change. If they feel confident in it, then I'm all for it. Like the only issue before was the rumors were they looked into it and it didn't work right. And that's because Unreal Engine 4 just wasn't very good. They still have really bad traversal stutter in 5. It's not the most noticeable thing for everyone, but if you do notice it, those hitches you always get on PC, like even Hellblade 2 has it on PC, doesn't have it on Xbox Series, oddly enough. So there's still things to work on and try and fix. And yes, ads are broken on the site. They have not been loading for me all day.
Sorry, I just had like 2 messages as well while you were talking. Briefly, last before we move on topics, it's worth remembering that Halo Infinite was in the news because one of the things they announced at the beginning of Worlds, I believe, was a upcoming third-person mode for Halo Infinite, maybe to attract that Fortnite crowd. But mostly for a bit of fun. Yeah. Like I can imagine some forgers as well will probably come up with some unique stuff within that mode. I can't quite think like what from a game design perspective right this second, but I bet there's someone out there that will think of something. And they have announced that they've got their Halloween event coming up for Halo Infinite.
Do they call it Halloween?
I don't know if they've revealed what it is, and I honestly, if there's anyone from Halo Studios watching, I can't remember whether I'm allowed to talk about any of this or not. There's some cool stuff coming. I have no idea if they've actually revealed like what it is yet. But yeah, there's some very
see it on Waypoint.
Cool content. There's some cool content. Oh, that's why, because my brain's just kicked in. Sorry. There is a video I think coming today with a trailer for what it is.
I think I saw the tweet for that. Yeah,
people should probably watch that because Forgers have been cooking. I may have had a hand in 1 or 2, but yeah, there you go. Oh, and just because I'm reading it right now, and it's not in the news, but I'm going to mention it. Towerborn, which is a side-scrolling beat 'em up MMO light, I guess, multiplayer game, is also, even though it's in early access, getting a very, very cool update today. I saw them dropping some hints on Twitter saying that there was a spooky wind blowing through the belfry. So I think they may be doing some sort of Halloween event. Probably should check that out. There you go. That's all of the news. All of the news. I am an excited boy for the Halos again. I wanted to do crazy out there stuff, ignore all the noise, and just, make Halo great again. I need to get it on a hat. Not that it's not always been really good. But it's not the end of really fantastic news and hope for people this week, because out of nowhere, on the 10-year anniversary of the very, very popular Alien Isolation from Creative Assembly, when I was writing this article up, I kept typing Certain Affinity and I had to slap myself. 2 studios with 2 CAs is getting a sequel. I am nonplussed about this. I will never play it. All right. But for fans that love Alien Isolation, exciting news. Happy?
Yeah, extremely. It's a solid game. It's not like one of the best. It's not bad.
I thought it was like a 5.9 out of 10, actually.
Well, if you actually read, and this is one of the times Nick is right, where if you actually read the text, the game is way too long. Like, it is too long. They stretched it out a bit too much for the mechanics it has. But like graphically, feelings wise, it is the most Alien movie. As a huge Alien fan and not a huge Aliens fan, like I prefer that just gorgeous visual slow burn horror with earned jump scares instead of a bunch of skittering little dogs that die. They're only scary because they drop acid on you when they die. As much as you might like Cameron and his writing and all that type of stuff, I preferred where the original was story-wise, where like this one thing is just this incredibly difficult to predict and stop monster. And this game captured that really well. And it looked great, especially at the time. It looked great. Still looks really good on PC.
It does.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
Hate it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nice to see the creative director from Creative Assembly share out a longish letter for Twitter that's just sort of like, hey, we've heard your distress calls loud and clear. Delighted to confirm on behalf of the team a sequel to Alien Isolation is in early development. And I think you're going to see a lot of, people bemoan, oh, where's our new IP? Where's our new ideas? Well, they cost loads to make, and then if they don't sell, they can ruin a studio. So I don't blame them, and this is a smart move for a team that already saw some job losses this year to double down on something that they know people will want.
Yeah, I think it was smart on them to know people didn't want hyenas. Like that was one of the things we ran into. Like it could have been a really well done game, but people just aren't looking for that, and so cut your losses instead of. But their losses are probably a lot less than Concord's were. So every situation is different. You can never just look at it and just go, oh, this is exactly why this happened. It's maybe, but this also seems real smart. The game has just sold for a really long time. Like it's not selling at full price, but it still sells a lot for a decade now. I'm real excited to see what they can do with new tech. Like get this on like Unreal Engine 5
I just noticed
you're
playing the stream of me playing it, hating my life.
Mm-hmm. I might have zoomed in really hard on your face.
Yeah,
that's
it was just unpleasant.
This will look way better next time we do it for anything Hangouts because I finally have good internet, unless this week ruins it.
If it wasn't, fingers crossed. But if it wasn't October and everyone was really busy, I'm working on a large-ish review now that's going to take up some time, especially when I read how long everything is. It's going to be a while before I've got an evening spare because I have to hammer through this. But let's see where we land.
And I am planning to hop into it during the extra live stream on November 2nd, barring any catastrophic changes to my schedule. I'll I'll hop back in because I did do a few hours of Alien Isolation on a copy with Cabeza, and I want to save it, and I'm going to do it as part of that stream.
Yeah, yeah. Friendly reminder to everyone in the chat: if you're watching right now, do hit the like button. It does help us out algorithm-wise. So costs you nothing, makes it everything for us. I think we will probably do something horror-ish on or around Halloween for funsies. I think Outlast Trials, you've got a copy of that, right?
Yep. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
They sent us multiple, so I got one.
And community game night, certainly for me hosting them and doing Halo and stuff like that, it's going to be alternating Mondays. So not this Monday, but I will host one next Monday evening. Sans children. Because again, Trav, yes, I do blame my kids for everything. My hairline, my stomach, my waist size, it's all their fault.
This hurricane, it's all on them.
Yeah, it's their fault. Next up in the news, it's just continuingly good stuff. Diablo, Vessel of Hatred. Reviews all dropped. You've played it a bunch. I know you spoke about it on Saturday during the mainline show, but a brief synopsis for Diablo fans that are looking to get stuck in. I know it was delayed yesterday from its global launch, but it's out now.
Yeah.
Is it worth getting for Diablo fans?
If you are really into it for the gameplay as much as the story and all that stuff, yeah, it is $40. It is not transformative. I know that is the buzzword around DLC lately. This one is in like an 86 on OpenCritic, despite being 10 to 15 hours of okay story with an unsatisfying ending, but it adds some fun endgame gameplay mechanics in a really awesome new class with the Spiritborn. I'll be playing it all day because even though I only gave it a 7.8, I did quite enjoy it, and that is a very good score overall. $40, really fun. Base game's on Game Pass. You get 10% off, so it's $36, I think, US. So it varies per region. It's really fun. New areas, appropriately gross looking. It plays great. A lot of the new endgame stuff really cool. I didn't get to play it nearly as much as I wanted to because we don't get to keep the characters during the review period. They're on a separate realm and a separate build, and then they're just gone forever. So I put like 25 hours in. Oddly enough, for some reason, this review is like the worst viewed one I've had in a long time. It's not even close to 1,000,000 on YouTube yet. But
yeah, it happens.
Yeah, it's just it's really good. It is just a little pricey, so if you are feeling inundated with games, you can probably wait for it to be a little cheaper. Yeah, it's good, and I will be playing it on the channel a lot today because I got nothing else to do.
Fair enough. So more Diablo for those that want it. But it's not the only. There's just been banger news. So we've had new Halo, it looks amazing. We've had Alien Isolation getting a sequel. Diablo's got a new expansion. And then Metaphor, ReFantazio reviews have dropped.
Xbox exclusive, according to some people.
Xbox marketing putting in overtime there. But our own Cengiz gave Metaphor ReFantazio a 9.5 out of 10 as a fantastic RPG.
And yet,
along with the rest of the industry,
not even far off. He's like right next to the meta with that score.
Yeah. It's come in at 94, I think, on Metacritic, which puts it level pegging with Astro, I think, as a game of the year.
Yeah. On OpenCritic, it's like 92 or 93, and Astro is still I think it's 93 on OpenCritic, and Astro is 95. But on Metacritic, on one platform, it's 95. So, yeah.
Game Pass day one, according to Jeff Keighley.
Yeah, that was funny. And it is funny when you look at this game. It has a really incredible art style, but it would look at home on a 360.
Yeah, and this is what I'm saying about game development. It's not games look good enough. Focus on the gameplay. Give us new ideas. I don't care about graphics as much.
Yeah, and despite it's an Atlas game. People are like, oh, it's going to play like Persona. It's like, nope, supposedly it really doesn't. And a lot of people who haven't liked Persona's combat quite like it in this one. And also this one's just really weird. It's a weird, cool story.
I have to admit, I had to put this video together for Cengiz, and I don't hate, but I definitely dislike putting together videos for games I haven't played, because he's like talking about combat systems, and I'm looking through the clips, and he's labeled them, and they're great, but he maybe didn't label, hey, this is for this sentence or this mechanic, and I'm like, is that this mechanic? Is this the guy that's dying in the realm? Is this the character you meant? Like, I'm just guessing. Apparently, I did okay. So
I fully admit there are
I
times
hope
where
you enjoyed the video.
I do think some people like it when they jump around to show stuff that matches what's being talked about, but quite often I like showing a big chunk of gameplay to give you the actual flow. Like the Diablo one is just big chunks of what I thought were interesting gameplay. In a game like this, though, and probably with like Dragon Age and stuff, I would focus more on systems because there's so many more of them that people might not know about.
Yeah.
God, this game's weird.
It is. It looks great. Though.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
Very, very pretty. Well, very unique.
And Microsoft had the exclusive marketing that drove some people crazy, and shockingly, it's seemingly selling great everywhere. So
good for,
it didn't hurt
Atlas
anything to have a ridiculous amount of marketing that might have only ever mentioned Xbox.
Yay! Let's have a look. What else have we got in the news? It's been banding around for a couple of days, maybe a week or so. Rumors of Tencent and the Guillermo family considering a Ubisoft buyout. I think we spoke about it briefly on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Taking the company private again. I actually think, if memory serves, Insider Gaming did an update on this.
Ubisoft pretty much confirmed that things are being discussed.
Yeah, they confirmed the recent buyout reports, saying it regularly reviews options. So yeah, let's see what happens there. The full statement from Ubisoft was, Ubisoft has noted recent press speculation regarding potential interests around the company. It regularly reviews all its strategic options in the interest of its stakeholders and will inform the market if and when appropriate. The company reiterates that management is currently focusing on executing its strategy centered on two core verticals: open world adventures and games as a service native experiences. God, that sounds so unthrilling when you say it like that. But there you go. That is Ubisoft's.
Let me just add in little news.
Reason for being, I guess. So yeah, good for them. See what happens.
I'm just adding this in real quick because they just
do this right now. This one.
Yeah, they just tweeted this out. So if you are, God, this is way too long. I can't make this fit on the screen. Hold on. Go ahead.
LittleBigPlanet 3 has just announced breaking news, and all of its DLC is being delisted and won't be able to be downloaded after October 31st. So
if you ever want to play that game ever again on PS4, you must now download it and never uninstall it.
So even if you wanted to play it afterwards, it's going to be not there.
Yeah, their responses on the right here are pretty much, if you have downloaded LittleBigPlanet 3 via PlayStation Plus, you will still be able to play it after October 31st. So it reads like you have to have downloaded, because after 10 years of playing, creating, and sharing content in LittleBigPlanet 3, the game and our entire range of LittleBigPlanet DLC will be removed from the PlayStation Store on October 31st. So the game itself and all DLC is just gone from the store, and you can only play it if you have already downloaded it. It is a PT situation. I don't know why.
Wow.
I'm not sure why they would have to take the entire game off the store. That is weird.
It is strange. But
so if you want a physical copy, if they ever made one, I honestly don't know if they did. It's really weird that the game itself has to be delisted. That's really weird. That's why I was like, what the hell? All right.
That's very strange.
Yeah.
There you go, LittleBigPlanet 3 fans. Act now if you're still fans. I can just see it in the chat. JB1521 says, have we played Off the Grid?
Mm-mm.
I don't even know what that is.
I think I've heard of it, but I have not played it.
I just typed oof the grid. Oof the grid.
The grid.
There's a gameplay trailer from 2023. Oh, it's okay. It's kind of like, oh, interesting. It's like a soldier future thing. Looks interesting. Got jetpacks and shit. Okay, we'll check it out. Thanks, JB. Next up in news, Red Dead Redemption, the original, is coming to PC on October 29th.
In the way you want, John, with full-on ultra-wide support.
Joy, Ren. I played Red Dead 1.
Great game.
Got bored.
Wow. See, that is...
Open world games, man.
Yeah, that is the difference for me. I like living in the worlds and going through stuff. I do like the more directed do it this way approach that Rockstar does with their missions that I know drives other people crazy. There are people out there like, I want to figure out how to do it on my own. And like, that's kind of thing that turned me off of Baldur's Gate 3 is I like just having a thing you want me to go do and I do it. And Red Dead was great. Red Dead 2 beta, but still this version of Red Dead looks awesome. Like it looks really good for how old this game is. And it was a great game coming to PC on the 29th. There also had been, like it also says currently available on Switch and PS4. That's because you can buy them there, but it is really good looking on Xbox Series consoles with back compat and the way that all works. So,
yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like there's so many open world games where I've played and it's like really initially hooked me, but then as is with this job particularly, the next code comes in and then your flow gets interrupted and then you just like, so Avatar, I haven't really gone back and I really would like to. I was really enjoying it. Same for Valhalla, same for Red Dead 2, same for GTA 5. I've bought that twice. So I've still never completed the fucking thing. Like, man, I'm going to do the same as well. GTA 6 will come out and I'll be like, the hype will get to me and I'll buy it and then I'll play it. I'll go like, wow. And then I'll get bored and then I'll never play it again.
I'm the opposite. But that is half the reason, or that's most of the reason why I started streaming is so that I would have an excuse to build up the site, talk with patrons and people and get people interested in the site and get to play things that I really wanted to.
Yeah, I definitely want to do more streams, but I can't come up with a name as catchy as Coffee with Cabeza. Like streaming with Six sounds gross. And
I do take a lot of our notifications. And that's the tough thing. We would really probably have to start doing more stuff just on Twitch.
Yeah. Well, and a schedule as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Cool. Well, if you're a Red Dead fan.
Skedaddle asked in chat, is anyone doing a review for Starship Troopers? Hopefully him. We'll see because he's going to be busy.
Yeah, so
I don't think you have to play. You don't have to play a ton of it because we already played it, and it doesn't change that much. You just need to see the maps and modes and what 1.0 is.
Yeah, I will be working on a review for Starship Troopers Extermination, but being a 16-player cooperative PvE game, I have to wait for the servers to be live. Yeah. So it will be a couple of days ish after launch. Frustratingly though, it's coming right in the middle of a rather large review that I'm working on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all time. Your kids
get in the way.
Sons of bitches and daughters of bitches. I mean that. Anyway, next up in the news, Saudi Arabia. Yeah, you didn't think I'd say that as my next two words, did you? Saudi Arabia has reduced its stake in Nintendo. Reduce.
Yeah, the original news was increasing, but it turned out to be the opposite.
Yeah, so it was incorrectly reported that it was planning to invest further, but Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund has reduced its stake in Nintendo, according to a new report. Which is Savvy Games, an investment group founded by Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, has cut its stake in Nintendo from 8.58% to 7.54%. A move which still makes it one of Nintendo's largest shareholders.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't Microsoft have a stake in Nintendo?
I don't know. I mean, they're a public company. You can't really control who does or doesn't. And it was funny, like Nintendo had no idea Saudi Arabia owned that much until it was reported in the news. But you don't know. Your thing's
Wait,
up there.
what?
Yeah, unless they like hit it up and say, okay, I bought a whole bunch. I want a seat on your board. Like, if they don't say anything and they just buy it and they never say it and you don't know it, like the company isn't very clearly listed as them. Yeah.
I've just seen Trav in the chat. He's actually suggested a cup of tea with sick. And I actually kind of weirdly like that. It hasn't got the alliteration of coffee with cabeza, but it's inherently British. So maybe that's the way we go. A nice cup of tea with sick.
A spot of tea.
Still sounds kind of gross. Stupid name, sick. Hey?
Yeah.
Hey.
Jon and Mechanico.
Anywho, Jon and Mechanico doesn't have the same ring to it, does it? What else have we got? I think there's only a couple of bits more.
This is the last one. The one you put in.
Oh, just briefly mentioning Silent Hill 2 rave reviews as well. Did very, very well.
The story of them being annoyed at
Konami
for pushing out a trailer they didn't, or thing they didn't want to do seems to be true, because now the actual game is hit and people really like it, though the PC version is supposedly a mess.
Oh dear, yeah, stutter, I think.
Yeah,
Classic.
really bad. So
never mind. But yeah, last bit of news then for today's episode of Headlines, and that's just a brief acknowledgement, really, more than anything else, of the Call of Duty launch trailer. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The Microsoft-owned franchise Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is launching on the 25th of October on Xbox consoles, past and present, PlayStation 4, PS5, and PC. It's coming straight onto Game Pass if you're on Game Pass Ultimate or you have Game Pass PC. There's no early access this time, but the launch trailer, it looks very Call of Duty. Right? Bombastic set pieces, loads of yay, patriotic American stuff.
Also, I do think actually the Black Ops is less patriotic American and more fighting bad parts of the government, which I think why people like a little more. Because when you had Ghosts and some of those other ones, they were super-ish patriotic a bit.
Yeah.
But Black Ops was always more fucked up, weirdo, conspiracy theory stuff. This one was funny because the trailer went up on Activision and PlayStation's social media, and then 3 hours later, it showed up on Microsoft's. Exactly 3 hours. No, it was exactly 3 hours later. It was set for that. Which, again, and I said it before, but with them getting Modern Warfare 3 into Game Pass early, because that game is still getting exclusive DLC, and the deal was supposed to run through the end of the year, like they said in the FTC trial, but they got it into Game Pass half a year early. I wouldn't be shocked if they worked out some stuff like that. Activision won't push Game Pass. The Call of Duty marketing itself won't push it, but their website does. And PlayStation still keeps, probably for this year, a few hours early on some things. Maybe. Could be wrong. It just has felt that way because it was all there. It was all ready to go. It was at exactly 3 hours after, I think. So it didn't feel like, oh, we just forgot, which would be weird.
I don't know if you can download campaign separately.
It's all tied to the Call of Duty hub. It's still going to be enormous. It's always
still in COD HQ app.
So it depends.
So I guess you can.
So with COD HQ, how big is the base, and then the campaign, all that stuff? I don't know. I just know that it can be up to 300 gigs if you put everything under the college HQ app in there. So it can be enormous. I don't know how small it can be.
Yeah. Looking forward to playing it though. It's a nice palate cleanser playing Call of Duty. You play the campaign, it's over in 8 hours, job done, move on. I'm fine with that. Feels like the right length of that kind of game. None of this useless padding. So yeah, there you go. It's coming out October 25th. We will obviously be bringing you coverage across the campaign, zombies, and multiplayer when applicable. I think zombies and campaign will certainly be able to do for around that launch period, presumably.
Yeah.
But multiplayer will get in the weeds with everybody. But stuff like this, and for the community game nights that we want to do with our Patreon community, if you want to get involved in that, head over to patreon.com/XboxEra. Tons of cool perks, but the game nights, the community stuff is all going to be focused around the guys that are directly supporting us, to be frank. And we're going to mostly lean into games that we know everybody has access to. So stuff that's on Game Pass, large multiplayer numbers. Yeah, like we're going to be doing everything we can to reward and just chat stuff. It won't even necessarily be a stream. We will just want to just hang out and play games with you. So we don't want it to feel too much like work all the time. We'll stream where it's funny to stream, but like sometimes it will just be like we might just stream to the Discord channel and people can just come hang out and watch and chat. And that way we can be a little less professional like we ever are. Anyways, that's it for this episode of Headlines. We'll hopefully be back on Thursday. I am touching wood here. It will be fine. Everything will be fine. Send all of the good vibes.
There is some place in Florida that will get devastated. Where it is, don't know. But most of the things make it look like it's coming right here. Like all the spaghetti models now are either
the spaghetti models.
Yeah, all the model tracks, they're just a little above us, which would be really bad, or a little below us, which would be a little less bad.
Fingers crossed. And obviously, I hope everybody can remain safe and unharmed, and that it isn't too devastating when it does make landfall. But yeah, hopefully we'll be back on Thursday. We'll play it by ear. We'll keep you guys informed. You know, we're out there on Discord. If you want to join the community Discord, you can head to discord.gg/XboxEra or head over to our lovely forums, forum.xboxera.com. And just as a quick note on that, a little bit of housekeeping before we wrap things up. We have taken on board a new ad provider. There will be wobbles. So patrons in particular, you might be seeing ads where you shouldn't be seeing ads. We are aware. We are working on it with our partner. Hopefully it'll be resolved soon. We will make some noise when it is. But thank you for your patience and support as always.
Yeah, just a blank white bar at the bottom right now for ads.
Yeah, they've just pinged me and said, hey, did you do anything to that? I'm like, no. What have you done? So hopefully they fix it soon. But anyways, we'll see you next time, people. Stay safe out there. Play video games. Enjoy yourselves. Ciao for now.
Goodbye. Forever.